Looks all right.
Yeah.
Okay, it's on.
All right, hang on.
Carolyn came by.
Let's bring order in the chamber. Let's all bow your heads for prayer, please. Our most precious Heavenly Father, be with this fantastic group here tonight. It's going to put together a budget, hopefully before we leave, and give us guidance so that we do the smart thing, and you know the things that's going to help us. So help us make good decisions and help us do the things that are pleasing in your sight and pleasing in the sight of the town of people, the people that live in the town of Benson. And be with us as we travel home and take us safely, and please keep us safe with this virus that we're dealing with, and give us guidance in how we handle that, and that we keep everybody safe and well. In God's name we pray. Amen. Amen. Let's stand and pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First of all, I want to thank all of you for being here for this extra meeting we're having and to deal with the budget. I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda with one recognition that I'm going to make to recognize Ike to talk about the cell phone. And we're not going to have to decide anything. It's more of a communication than anything else. And so I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Make a motion that we approve the agenda.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. In the old business, our main thrust here tonight is to talk about the budget, and I'll call on Fred Nelson too. Oh, okay. Are they here? Yeah. Oh, I see her now. I will recognize Loretta Bird. She's our chamber CDO, and we will give us a report on the chamber.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Commissioners, for allowing me to speak tonight. I just wanted to give you a few updates as what's going on in the business community and in the chamber. The last few months have been trying for our businesses, downtown ones, out of the city limits ones. But I'm very proud to say that our businesses have been creative. They've reinvented themselves and appear to be doing okay. Not great, but okay. They seem to keep the doors open and the lights are on. We did a ribbon cutting last week of a new business right outside of Benson, and we have another one scheduled the second week in July, so there is some growth. The chamber has canceled our reverse raffle that was supposed to be July 24th, and we're refunding all that money, so if anyone asks. Our first Sundown concert, which was scheduled from April to July 21st, will be virtual. We're moving it to the auditorium with no attendees, and we're making plans to Facebook Live it. So a lot of the bands are doing that now. We hate not to give the citizens something to watch and enjoy, so we'll be recording it also, and it'll be on our page, and maybe town can put it on their Facebook page, and more people might actually see it. We're going to wait to see what the next few weeks bring and what the governor mandates. But I know you're getting asked are we going to have meal days? Are we going to have meal days? Our chamber board met today, emergency meeting, and the board has decided that we will make the decision July 18th, the day after the governor releases his information. And that's all I have at this time as far as meal days. Any questions? It's a hard time right now, guys, as everyone knows. The stress of do we do it or we don't do it. We got to do what's right for everyone else. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Loretta. Okay, now Fred.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. You have before you the budget proposal for 2020 through 2021. Just a few highlights from the letter that you have before you. We're recommending that we stay at the present tax rate of 53 cents per 100 for the upcoming year. Due to the most recent pandemic, we have been very conservative in estimating our revenues for the upcoming fiscal year. And prayerfully, we'll see that that is better than we anticipate. Our general fund, as you see on the second page, is approximately 27% of the fund balance. We're in good shape there. Our budget, as far as staff is concerned, again, reflects no new positions, but in the event that our revenues are received at a higher rate than we anticipate, we'll probably come back to you with some recommendations about adding more staff in various departments that are understaffed right now, for instance, public works. We also have before you a breakdown of salaries increases and or different ways of approaching increases or not for the staff salaries. We have recommended COLA increase. Of course, the board's pleasure is what we will follow. As we go to our last page there, the bottom of the summaries, as we move forward during the coronavirus pandemic, the areas of need shall remain in focus for the elected officials, staff, and citizenry. Transportation improvements, including the widening of I-95 and the 301 roundabout, where you see there's some work going on down there now, with some signaling work. I believe it's PSG that's doing the work down there. Also, some stormwater repairs, Lee Street demolition, and economic development opportunities that may arise. So we thank you for your support as we've gone through this last year, and we solicit your support for the upcoming budget year with the requests that you see in front. That's all I have right now, Mayor.
Does anybody have any questions for Fred? I think everybody knows that our finance minister is on the screen. So if you have any questions of her, or you want any changes you want to make in the budget,
Well, Mayor, I'm all in favor of them getting a cost of living raise. I am in favor of that. But I really have a problem with us doing it right now. I think it's very selfish I just don't think it's a good time to ask for a raise. I mean, I would love to see every one of them get a raise at some time or another, but right now, I just think if you got a job, you need to be thankful. So I just do not think, I don't go along with the raises right now.
what would you propose? What would you propose? To take it out,
raise, to take it out
altogether.
Yes, that's what I propose.
Any other comments?
I don't disagree with Ms. Holly's position on that at this juncture.
I don't know if I said it last time, I don't know if something's even possible. But I was thinking about maybe saying no COLA raise now, but put it off for 90 days and bring it back in 90 days and see where we are. Maybe be able to do it later.
And I can live with that, but right now, I just don't think it's a good time.
I think if we don't increase their base salary with a % COLA raise right now, Or if we don't think we're gonna do it soon in the future, I think the least we could do is start looking at maybe giving them some type of one-time bonus. Because I know that they've been working extra hard during all the event that's going on. I know a lot of municipalities, instead of doing % raises, have been giving one-time bonuses to all the employees, because I can imagine, even though we're behind in utilities, I could imagine it's a whole lot more workload because we're behind in utilities and they're trying to chase them down. So I did some numbers based off of the sheets that Kim gave me. It looks like the salary increase across the board, if you go from below manager down for all the positions that are listed on the spreadsheet she gave me, the increase proposed at 3% would be an increase in our budget from 20 to 21 of $270,000 and some change. I mean, and that the average salary in town right now is a little over 39,000. It looks like. I mean, if we didn't want to spend the $270,000, maybe we look at a nominal figure and say just divide that up between the 58 positions and give them a one-time bonus this year because of the work that they've been doing. That would be something I would consider if we don't think we're going to be giving them a COLA, but I think they deserve one or the other.
I'm not saying they don't deserve it. I'm just saying it's not a good time right now. The bonuses you're talking about, I would like to see us wait until the 90 days or the days that you're talking about, and we talk about that again too. But right now, I just do not see it. I just think it's being selfish right now. People are really hurting, and we are asking for raises. I just don't think that's a good idea.
Any other comments?
I agree with them at least getting a bonus if they don't get a raise and or a cost of living raise anyway. They certainly do deserve something because I do understand they've been doing a lot of extra work. But I would like to review this maybe again in 90 days or even further out than that.
Are you saying in the 90 days reviewing it solely for the bonus that he was talking about, or?
Maybe for the raise.
Well, we need to decide what it is we'd like to do and when, so that it can go in the budget. Because we have to have a balanced budget.
I think the theory is right now on my back, we don't know when this is going to be over. And I know nobody does, but I know the numbers that I sent the other day, we're just shy under $150,000 in loss right now in our utility department. And I don't know how long that's going to continue. Maybe we're going to get some good news tonight, but I don't know how long that's going to continue to grow.
Well, it's actually $168,000 right now. And,
That's bigger than the email I got.
that takes into consideration the money that's been lost because you couldn't charge late fees.
What do we project? Kim, do we have a projection of what it's going to be if it goes through the election, which is what I expect?
It's hard to hear y'all. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to keep up. What was your question, Max?
What is the ballpark projection of what we're going to lose between now if what's in place now goes through the election, which is what I think is going to happen? What would you say we lose?
Yeah. I did some calculations today. I think we're getting about 75% at least of revenues of the bills, and 25% not getting paid. And obviously we're not getting late fees, but we never should balance the budget on late fees either. So I try not to count that. I'm just sort of giving that general error. I foresee it getting worse if it continues. People are going to get used to not paying their fees. What I would like to suggest is if y'all are not agreeable to the raise right now, pass the budget like it is. Because like Jerry said, we do have to have a budget by Tuesday, but in your motion say, pass the budget without the raise, and let's reevaluate the raise in however many days, 90 days, whatever y'all decide. 90 days, evaluate in January, but have that in the motion. And then we can go back to y'all at that time frame and tell you kind of where we are financially.
think that's a good idea. So tell me, what would you guesstimate as our losses per month? Let me ask you like that.
4 months. 150, that's
Well, I've
maybe a
been
month.
sending those emails, and right now, let me pull up the most recent one. Right now, I think we're 144,000, in the hole for utilities. And that's actually, to me, I think that's we're have a good collection, you know, we're getting the money, it's just coming in really slow.
But what I'm asking is, what do we project it to be when we project that it ends? If anybody, I would think, nobody else in this room, I think it's gonna go to the election, but I do. That's November. And so that means, June, July, August, September, October, 4 to 5 or 6 months more. And like we said, 40,000 a month, that'd be, another couple $100,000, $240,000.
Yeah, you're looking at about $40,000 a month we're losing.
So we could end up being 400,000 in the hole.
Kim, currently, how many employees do we have?
How many employees do we have?
There's 58.
Scott, if you'll help me, I think
Yes,
it's, yeah, he knows them by heart.
it fluctuates to about 48 full-time. It can go up to 54, depending on what position you're in.
According to the spreadsheet that Kim ran, there's 58, but that includes part-time.
Oh,
58.
with some of the part-time, yeah, I don't think that.
But there's
includes
7
like the-
vacancies on here too, so I'd say that maybe.
Yeah, I put the permanent part-timers on there, like the
Okay.
library staff members that are permanent part-times, and like, museum, those ones, I did put in the spreadsheet, because they're always with us.
Well, what's your wishes?
I've got something else to talk about when we get done talking about the raises, if we decided if we want to hold on, or if we're going to pass it before.
Well, I'd like to make a motion that we revisit the raises in 3 months. That is my motion.
So if we revisit the raises, then the bonus is in consideration?
No, the cost of living, the cost of living is what I'm interested in.
I think what we would pass the budget that is with a condition that we not distribute the raises at this time until that's reconsidered and has to be approved by the board in the future. Is that what you're looking, Kim?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's what my motion is.
And wouldn't we say, in 90 days, we would consider the COLA raise and or the one-time bonus?
That's my question. Either or, is it gonna be, if we don't do the COLA, would be the bonus if the numbers look better?
I would say we would approve the budget as is
Right.
with the condition that no money be dispersed until we consider a raise of some sort in the future. I don't know how to make that sound better.
I can suggest that, indicate that you're passing the budget as is, the stipulation that we come back with, in 90 days with, proposals for considering
Either or.
either or,
Okay.
yes.
Do you get that, Angie?
At the end,
Yeah.
Read back what you got.
you're gonna pass the budget as is, and you're gonna come back in 90 days, and either or, you're gonna consider a bonus or the COLA at that time.
Okay, you had something else?
Yeah, before we pass the budget, I just want to say, because I was one of the more vocal ones about this, that I went and met with the fire chief the other day. And there was a little bit of misunderstanding on my part about the funding for that position that he asked for. The way it's been presented to me when I met with Alan the other day, if we don't allow him to hire, he keeps the money, it just goes towards equipment and reps. So I'm just saying that it doesn't change our numbers if we allow him to have that position or not. So he's the fire chief, I'm gonna let him make that decision, but my understanding was it was a new full-time, what do you call it, Tim? FTE, FTE. It is not a FTE. It is something out of the fire tax. It does not affect our budget. So I would say that if he wants that position, and it doesn't affect our budget.
Which job is that on
Except for
the?
the assistant.
That's the assistant fire chief. It's currently the assistant fire chief, from what I understand now, is currently drawing a salary off of a yearly paycheck, but instead he's going to become a part-time employee. And Alan, if you're in the if I'm not saying anything right, stop me, but he's currently a position that's already in place. He just gets paid $20,000 a year, one time a year, base per call. Alan's trying to make him base per hour based on 20 hours a week, which would increase him by probably $5,000 or $6,000, $7,000. Is that right? Yeah.
And then he can get a paycheck every week.
But that comes out of his fire tax fund from Johnson and Hornet County, from what I understand. That doesn't affect our budget at all. I thought it was gonna be a new FTE on our budget, so I was mistaken. And I'll say that if he wants a position, I'm in favor of putting that back in the budget.
So you
There's
made
no
a motion.
objection. I made the
to put
motion that we put that
or,
back in the budget.
An amendment to her motion.
And with that, I would say that we made the motion to approve the budget as is with whatever we said a while ago about we're doing it, we're not compensating.
Okay, so what I'll do if you're gonna put the assistant fire chief back, the money's not gonna change in Alan's budget, but there needs to be, a budget adjustment essentially. So the meeting in July, I'll bring the budget adjustment up because what I did was put the money back in volunteer. So now I have to move it back to salary. So just know that I'll bring that to the board in July.
All right, we know what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
He made a motion. I'll second. He's already made the motion.
Okay.
Get ready to go.
So you have two motions on.
We have two motions, yeah, you made the motion to pass the budget.
Right.
Technically, you do, but Ms. Holly made the first motion, is seconded Williams. I think this is a part of parliamentary procedure. If Williams' motion is now to pass the budget with Ms. Holly's removal of the COLA increase, then probably Mr. Holly would withdraw hers and then just act on Commissioner McNair.
What?
But I would think just to withdraw your motion, that you're in agreement with the one he made subsequent. You made yours first, and theirs was just to remove the COLA.
I'll make that motion.
You're withdrawing your motion, right, which was just to remove.
Yeah, but they're not, we're gonna revisit the raise. It's in there, right? Oh, okay, that's fine. I withdraw.
It's included yours and then to pass the budget.
I'll withdraw.
Okay, read the motion now.
Okay, we're gonna pass his motion. Commissioner Neighbors' motion is to pass the budget as is, and we're gonna come back in 90 days to revisit either or a bonus or a COLA at that time, and also to put back in the budget the part-time assistant fire chief.
Everybody understand? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Ayes have it.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
The next thing is the capital improvement plan.
Okay, so before you guys is the 20-year capital improvement plan. This is just a comprehensive approach in analyzing and forecasting our planning for the upcoming years to come. Each department has put in repairs or equipment changes, building maintenances, infrastructure changes that they foresee us needing in the next 20 years. We typically pass a capital improvement plan every year. We did not pass one last year due to the changing of the town manager, but here, this is the one for the next 20 years. And me and Angie are doing some research, and it will be a different plan next year. We're gonna dive in a little bit deeper next year into this.
Just one question, underwater sewer fund. There's no money in 2021 or 21-22. Is that okay?
Well, we tried to say we're not gonna do any capital improvement plans this year, so Tim may have been looking at that. Hold on, I'm scrolling to it. I'm having to look at the board book on my computer where I haven't been in the office all week. Tim and I are doing some research on some grants for phase 3. And we're looking at some, grant funding for street paving, but right now, I don't think we're planning on doing phase 3 until later. 2023 is what he's forecasting right now. We're lucky we have pretty much brand new trucks in that department. So as far as like driving apparatuses, they don't need right now. So
Well, I think wastewater and water and sewer are gonna be the three things that the grants are gonna be granted in
Right.
those years.
Yeah.
Well, this, same thing under sewer line. So if you're okay with that, does anybody else have any questions, any comments? I'll entertain a motion to approve the capital project plan for 20 through 40.
I made that motion.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. The approval of fiscal year 2021 fee schedule. Kim?
okay, so this is the updated fee schedule for the upcoming year. It does show the increase in the refuse collection. It shows the increase in the volumetric and base fee for water and sewer. It adds the stormwater fee, and it reflects what we just passed in the budget. And I think I wants to possibly insert something in the budget. I'm gonna let him speak.
Well, I'm gonna ask.
Yeah.
I'll tell everybody I'm sitting here, I'm talking about it. I'm not ready to talk. Hopefully. I promise you that I'm gonna be brief as I can. Sorry for the kind of the last minute nature of this request, but this is the proper time to address this, I believe, is sort of stars aligning to have the board considering the fee schedule tonight, because we've had a recent days and entity come forward wanting to make application to install a small cell tower site pole. They've not made an application yet. We're not in a pre-application meeting yet, although we have been in contact with them. The point regarding the fees that I want to ask your consideration on here tonight is, in our UDO, we've got a section that deals with these sorts of installations. It references back to the section in our ordinance, which is essentially the fee schedule, but there's really not anything there that directly addresses it. So if this entity comes forward right now and makes that application, they would probably just fall into the catch-all $250 special use permit application fee. Talked with Erin extensively and had her review it, and I think she shared my opinion on this. I talked to her about an hour ago and made sure I could say that because she wouldn't be here. So not putting any words in her mouth, but I think she agrees that $250 wouldn't cover the amount of man hours that would go into a technical review and staff review of the installation of even a small cell site like this particular applicant's going to come forward with. I would, based on Erin's review of sort of a cross-section of what similar municipalities and county, Johnson County is doing on these sorts of fees, advocate for something in the neighborhood of around $750. Not had any kind of applications for anything like this in my time as county attorney, so that's 10 plus years. That's going on 11 years, right? I can't tell you that definitively 750 is the number that's going to do it. I can tell you that I think everybody agrees that this sort of application will involve every department in the town. And so it'll be an extensive review to install a new cell tower site, even a small one like this current entity that we come forward with. $250, I don't think would cover the amount of time, and the fee for an application should cover, the expense that the town has to go to the work of reviewing that type of application. So I think what I would advocate for, since you're taking this up amount anyway, is including under the planning, zoning, and inspections department a separate special use permit application fee for wireless telecommunications facilities of, I would say, around $750 just for the sake of your consideration here tonight. When Aaron looked up, I think Andrews is $1,000. Johnson County, depending on the nature of the application, it goes up to 5,000 or 6,500. Really kind of all over the place as far as what you can charge. But unlike a co-location or something on an existing pole that belonged to us, which the statute sort of prescribes a $100 fee with a much more minor streamlined application process, this can be pretty involved. So I think that fee needs to be more. And now's the time to do that, especially in light of the fact that you're going to have an application for this coming forward pretty soon in this state. That's the first change I want you to consider. Second one is dovetailing with that is in our UDO section regarding cell tower applications is a provision for a consultant or expert evaluation deposit. All right, there's no set amount for that. I do notice in the fee schedule is now, it just says retention of expert is 100% of consultant fees. The UDO was written before the statute that governs these small cell site installations. And the disagreement you've got there is that the statute now says we have to set that fee at the time of application. You can't take up the application, review it, let everybody have some time with it, and then go back to the applicant and say, look, we're going to have to hire an engineer because there's no one here with the technical expertise to review a cell tower site. So we're going to have to hire an engineer. You need to bring us some more money to hire them. They'll tell you no, the statute says I don't have to do that. If you don't tell me ahead of time, I don't have to pay it. So I'm advocating for, I do like the concept of the deposit, as is in our UDO regarding the cell tower applications. Charge a deposit. I would, for your consideration, I would submit the figure of $5,000, and I'm not just pulling that out of thin air. The UDO section on cell tower applications actually contains provision that would be the minimum, and at any time it got below 1,000, if you were using that money entrusted or deposited with the town or outside expert review, and the applicant will be required in the UDO terms to bring it back up to 5,000 at a minimum. So I think the drafters of the UDO anyway consider that to be kind of a baseline. One also thing you might want to consider is a minimum $5,000 deposit, but leave it to the town manager to determine ultimately at the application meeting and at the time of the application to set a larger amount. If you had, instead of say a small cell tower application, you had a very large cell tower application, obviously you might want to consider a much larger review fee, and a lot of other municipalities and counties do that. So I think that needs to be in there as well as a set amount so that we keep in line with the statute, and when these applicants come, we can say, here's the amount of money that we're going to charge because this is what we think is commensurate work. It's going to take our staff time to review this, to be revenue neutral so the town doesn't spend taxpayer money for your project to review it. And here's the amount of money we're going to collect as a deposit, anticipating that we may need technical review by expert and have an expert opinion on your application. Of course, if we don't use all or part of it, that'll be refunded. So it's still, equitable to the applicant. They don't just get charged for some great big fee, which some municipalities, local governments do. They just charge a really big fee out of the gate. So,
but we can't go back if we're under, we can't go back and charge them.
You can't go back if you're under. Because as I said, the statute says that has to be designated and defined at the time of the application, right? So you can't go back after the fact and say, you know what, we charge a $750, got a minimal fee for technical review. Come to find out, or it turns out this is really complex. There's no one here with the expertise, the education and expertise and certification to really review this sort of wireless application or installation. We got to hire an engineer, and that's going to be $15,000 if they're going to pay it. That should just be the primary pay. So that's the reason I would advocate for letting the town manager review that, and at least give an opportunity to have somebody to set a higher fee before the application was made, but set a minimum of say $5,000. Again, if it was a very minor installation, something on a much more simple level, or something that was much less concerning, or this was a very simple radio antenna or something, you could charge the fee and then say, well, look, maybe at this point, we've done a few of these applications, we probably won't need an outside consultant. And if we get to the end and we've reviewed it and we are fine with the application, the board approves it without outside, with the need for outside test, expert analysis, we'll just refund the money. So it's not, you know, it's charged, but, you know, they could have it refunded if we really didn't need it. So, you know, I think that's equitable still for the applicant.
Ike, is this something you looking to decide tonight and vote on?
I would ask you to, because, you know, like I said, I apologize for the short notice over this application. It's just brought this to the forefront and made everybody kind of, all realized that we didn't have any provision. We have a UDO section that deals with this, and it says, it refers you back to a section in the ordinance that refers, and by reference incorporates your fee schedule, but the fee schedule doesn't have anything about this. So if they made that application tomorrow, I'd go back to this fee schedule and say, well, they don't really fit anything specific, site plan or the special use permit, other actions by the planning board, the board of adjustments, the board of commissioners, which this will kind of fall into that catch-all, is $250. You charge them a $250 fee, and you might end up having a lot of hours spent and possibly even have to hire an expert to review it, and you would have only got $250. In light of the fact that I think this, I have every inclination of this application for a potential project is coming, and that there will be more of these because there have been calls to staff in town that I'm aware of. I know it's short notice, but you're already taking up your fee schedule. You can change it at a later date. Admittedly, we do not have a lot of experience with these sorts of applications, so we're really looking at what others are doing. And like I said, what others are doing are kind of all over the place in terms of some are really high and some are relatively low. Some of them are kind of in the same boat we are, where they just have like a special use permit fee general, and there's nothing really about the cell tower.
I'm gonna tell you, the more we talk about this, you know, you think about Verizon, you think about the cable, you talk about broadband that we're working on. We have a franchise with a Charter for them to hang on poles, and I think we need to come up with something that covers all these subjects and not have something separate for all of them. Because I think we're in virgin ground when we talk about the cell phone. We know what we have with Verizon and them hanging on the water tower, but I'm not sure we know what we are getting into with this contract.
It's just not a contract, it's just a fee that I'm asking you to consider. The reason why I think I would ask you to consider doing something tonight with these sorts of applications is because the statute gives them the right, subject to our review and approval, to put these right in your rights of way. What's essentially like a light pole in your right of way with a cell phone tower on it.
What's the wishes of the board? You've heard them.
Why are we starting so cheap? You said Andrew was starting at 1,000. That's
I was like, Andrew, 1,000.
But we're Benson. Johnson County's at 1,500. I mean, we're right here beside two interstates. Why are we charging so cheap? I think $750 sounds mighty cheap.
Well, 250 is sort of where we are now, and I didn't know what the stomach would be to go up to some.
I make a motion that we move it on up to $1,000 for that fee. And what do you say about the $5,000 fee?
I think the way the UDO is written regarding the cell phone installation, it sort of contemplates a minimum of a $5,000 amount. And I think you set your minimum there as a deposit, right? That can be refunded if not used, but give your town manager authority and discretion to set that at a higher amount based on the information provided by the applicant.
I'll make that motion.
That's the pre-application. He has to do it then, or
You have a meeting with them, they kind of tell you what you're gonna do, and you can tell it's something relatively simple, maybe you've done a few of them before, you can say, look, $5,000 is gonna cover it, probably more than cover it, you need to pay it as a deposit and go along. But if it's something that's much more complex, maybe you contact somebody, we have engineers you work with, and you say, here's what I'm looking at, and they say, look, for us to get involved in touching that's gonna be probably $20,000. Well, if that's what they tell you, then you probably need to set the deposit at a higher rate. Right. So that's why I think you give your manager that discretion.
All right, I got a motion on the floor. I make a motion that we give the discretion to the town manager to make that call, and $1,000 fee for the
The
Just our way of information, Commissioner, I just want to share with you that we did go out to the site for this one application that's coming up. And even though it's one pole, we can envision that it might be several across the town before you realize it. So thank you for considering this request.
All right, so motion on the floor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ike.
Now, you remember, you still got your fee schedule in general to consider, so that was just an addition. Thank you very much.
Organization chart,
I make a motion to approve the fee schedule.
huh?
Thank you.
That was just amending the fee schedule that was proposed. Now we've got.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the fee schedule.
We got a motion on the board to approve it, but I got a discussion point, and I'm gonna revert back to this kind of like we just did the COLA, because, I think Fred will, we spent 3 hours in here last night in the UDO meeting, and I think our 9 months worth of work is probably fixing to come together next month, but I think, I want to make sure we can reserve the right to go back in a couple of months and amend this fee schedule, because we are really missing the buck on some, ETJ construction that's going on. I was talking to a developer friend out of mine from neighboring municipality last night, and I really want to see some higher fees in lieu going down in for our residential construction. Some of our neighboring communities are getting, if you give the sidewalk waivers and the curb and gutter waivers, they're getting $18,000 a lot, and for fees in lieu. And right now, this town is just saying, "Oh, you don't want sidewalks, that's fine." And I don't think that's right. I think we're missing a lot of money right there.
We have to vote on that.
Yeah.
Not to allow them not
To allow it, but we're not charging them any fees to not allow it. In the other municipalities, they're going up there and they're saying, "I don't want sidewalks," and I'm throwing numbers out of my head because I don't remember all of them. They're going, "We don't want sidewalks on this 30 lot subdivision on Tar Hill Road that's into ETJ," and we're saying, "Okay, we'll let you waiver it." Other municipalities around us are saying, "We'll let you waiver it, but there's going to be a $2,500 fee per lot for you not to put sidewalks into the town."
You want to be.
I want
that 90 days.
I want to make sure that, because I think next month we're gonna have some stuff coming out of the UDO committee. I want to make sure, I just letting you know, I want to reserve the right to come back to this in 60 to 90 days and maybe update this fee schedule with some fees to maybe some rezoning and some fees requests. So I'm okay with it as is, but there are changes coming. I just want to make sure that this isn't solid for a year, that in 2 months we can come back here and maybe.
Right, yeah, we can change it. Tim and I are gonna be coming to you guys anyway and changing add into the commodity fees for water and sewer.
Okay.
So there will be changes, and Aaron is, doing research on the in lieu of stuff. So we will be bringing it back, but this just approves it with the new, this has what the budget reflects with the new fees. But yeah, we'll definitely bring it back.
That's all discussion. I'll be quiet. You go ahead and
So we understand where we are.
All right.
We've got a proposal that a motion's been made and voted on to add $1,000 and to give the town manager the responsibility of, or the authority to determine what the maximum amount would be when they present the application. So we want to add that we voted on to add it to the fee schedule. Now we want to vote on the fee schedule. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Okay. Organization chart.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for the vote on the fee schedule. We have before you then the Town of Benson organizational chart and salary grades. The organizational chart you see there has each position that we would like to see for the year 2020 through 2021. And certainly we will not be implementing hiring any folks in new positions, because that is a part of what we just approved as far as the budget is concerned. So this is a best case scenario for our staff that you see before you, as far as the organizational chart is concerned. And when the board is comfortable with releasing us to hire a new position, we'll certainly do that. So we would ask for your consideration to approve the organizational chart as you see it.
One question on the classifications that go with the organizational chart. Have these been compared to the area? These jobs are like the average in the area?
And I can speak to that, Mayor. Are you talking about the hiring rate and the maximum rate?
Yes.
If we were to compare those two rates for each of those positions, I'd say they're probably going to be on the low side. Where we have started, I think it was a pay study done in 2015 for the town, but I don't think anything was done with it. So we're kind of crawling before we walk, walking before we run. We're starting there, and it's going to take a little bit more research. I don't think you guys probably want to pay to bring in another study at this point, certainly. So we can do that research. It's just going to take some time to compare to what's going on around. But those are still probably a few years behind what other towns have had studies.
So you did that study is what somewhat had guidelines for this?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I don't, to my knowledge, I don't think that's been updated in quite some time.
It's been a while.
Yeah, a while.
Did anybody at the board have any questions of Fred? I'll entertain a motion to approve the organization chart with the classification.
I make a motion that we approve the organization chart.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you, Fred.
Considering the waiver request letter that you have before you for the waiver of the executive order number 124, 142, we developed a letter to send to the state attorney general asking for a waiver because of how the COVID-19 pandemic has affected town coffers. You see that where as of June 23rd, 2020, a total of 526 town of Benson utility accounts are delinquent, with an accounts receivable amount outstanding from such accounts totaling $144,935. And even with the increased amount of our late and disconnect fees, we'll see that as a town with a population of about 3,700 people and 1,544 total residential utility accounts, this is about 34% of our total residential utility accounts in arrears. And so with these kinds of impacts on our utilities, we'll find that it's going to be a drawdown on the town. We're asking that they consider request to waiver, give us a waiver for disconnects, etc.
Let me ask you a question. I saw where community action is going to be helping people with their bills and stuff. Have we received anything from them, or have people applied for that yet?
Not that I'm aware. Kim, are you aware of whether any of our customers have gone through community action?
If our customers, what now? I'm sorry, it's hard to hear.
Have gone through community action to help them pay their bills?
I haven't heard anything from community action yet, but I've also been not at the office. I mean, I've been quarantined for the last week. I haven't been able to talk to anybody from community action. They usually call the front desk and talk to Oneida and Crystal. I can find out and let you guys know. But they haven't told me that community action's been paying, so it makes me think probably not.
Well, they have an application. They can begin to pay.
They sent an email.
Yeah, but the people are going to have to go and apply for it. But it is open
Right,
for them
exactly.
to do that, yes.
So
And we did post that on our website. We posted it on Facebook and gave everybody the link. So we have, tried to get that message out there to the public.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt. I went through the list, yesterday of all the people that are delinquent. There's pages and pages of them. And I saw names on there that my eyes popped out when I saw that hadn't paid the bill. Hadn't paid their bill for 2 months. And I just think there's some people just sitting around because they got a chance to do it, they're doing it. And I think it behooves us to get on the phone, which I think, they've been talking today about doing and start talking to people. They're gonna have to pay the bills. They can't keep waiting. They're 6 months payable. It's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
The staff at the front office have been making calls, and there have been some door hangings put on people's doorknobs to ask them to come and talk with us about catching up with their bills. The mayor talked about pages and pages of folks who are delinquent. Our most recent report has 34 of 345 accounts that are over $500 in arrears. We have some that are over $1,000, but those are business entities. I'm trying to flip through and see if my eye can catch one to give you that exact figure. But as I took a look at this, I was surprised, first of all, at the amount of people who are $500 or more in arrears. But even with the efforts of the front office, and people are catching up. They're catching up through March already. They're working on April, but we're in June and going into July, so we can hope that others will continue to bring it on in.
Well, anything we can do to jolt or assist, we need to explore those. And I'm all in favor of sending the letter, but one of the things that Ms. Holly brought up, if there's anything that we can, assist people in going to community action or wherever they need to go, because I doubt very seriously they're going to make efforts to get over there themselves, but maybe we could look at, making it available where we can get them over there if they can file an application for assistance with that. I'm just throwing that out. I think they would be more inclined to seek it if we, or even if community action could have a time where they could use a portion of town facilities to come in and sit down, and then residents could come in and file an application. Just throwing that out as food for thought. I don't know that that's a possibility, but I think we should explore everything.
Commissioner, I think that'd be a great idea. We could be 100% for that. Make sure that folks have an opportunity. Speak up a little bit. We can make sure that folks have an opportunity to do just that.
And I'm sure Ms. Watson would be willing to have someone come down and do applications if she needed to.
If we just make a room available and say on this date, you can go over to town hall.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, we ought to do that. But I still think we ought to ask for the waiver, because the mayors all over the state that are involved with the Kemper are doing this. And I was on a call with Josh last Friday, and when they got finished, I called him on the phone because he gave us his phone number. And I kind of went through this, and it's really putting us in a bind. And I said, the word I hear is the governor's going to extend it again. And that's what we want to prevent. We want to be able to have at least 6 months to try to collect this money in. So it'll be interesting to see his reaction to Elizabeth City. That's what we're waiting for. They had a letter that was about 12 or 14 pages of data. And it said that in 8 years, they would be broke if we continued in this route. So I'm proposing that let me sign this letter and send it to Attorney General Stein and see what happens with that.
So do you need a motion for that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, I'll make that motion. I'll make a motion that we give whoever needs to sign it or permission to send a letter to Attorney General asking for the waiver.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Okay. The next is, the relief fund agreement, Johnson County. Go ahead.
You have before you the coronavirus relief funds agreement with Johnson County. It is a reimbursement agreement for funds that we have spent and or will spend. We'll probably come back if we have more expenses there that are directly related to the coronavirus pandemic. Excuse me. So we're asking to tap into funds that the CARES Act, funds that have been sent to the county and to share with the towns. And we're asking for a portion of $5,600, as you see there on the first page. And that's based on the proposed budget submitted by the sub-grantee, which is us, as an allocation of the CRF funding, the coronavirus funding.
Is it $3 million the amount of money that the county received?
Yes,
We only need 5,600.
that's all we spent on the coronavirus that to this day anyway.
So you're asking them for money back?
Yes.
Well, by all means. You need a motion for that?
Any questions of Fred? Well, I'll
Can we
entertain
pay
a
all
motion
utilities and ask them to reimburse us for that?
to approve it.
I make a motion that we.
Is there any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioner.
Town managers report.
I want to say that I appreciated working, have appreciated and look forward to our finished product with the UDO committee working on the current UDO. We had some great ideas coming out of that team. It's been a pleasure. We had our longest meeting last night, but it was very, I think, very productive. If you see something coming to your desk, hopefully in July that you can review, and we'll come back for hearing later on in the summer. And hopefully by September meeting, we can approve the changes to the UDO.
Is that it?
That's it.
All right.
Just want to say, happy anniversary to the mayor.
I feel younger than I did a week ago.
Let's don't pursue that. Let's move on.
Take that as you may. Commissioners, start with you.
Thanks for everybody, what y'all continue to do in town and everything. That's all I've got.
Jim.
I'm good.
Well, I have couple things. First of all, I would like to say to the employees and Mr. Nelson, if you will, please convey to them that I appreciate all they do. Work-wise, I'm not trying to be hard to get along with as far as the raise is concerned, but I just think right now it's just not the time for a raise. So it has nothing to do with anybody in the town. I think you all do a wonderful job, but I also think you need to be grateful to have a job because there are a lot of people that don't have one today. So with that said, the next thing, I'm getting a lot of complaints about the trailer court here in Benson. I'd like to ask the police if they would, chief back there, if he would step up the patrol in that area. The trailer court over in Benson. I understand last night it was shooting. It's a shooting over there about every night. And it's beginning to be sort of dangerous. So if they would step up the patrol in that area, I certainly would appreciate it, Chief.
Is that the old Gaines?
Yeah.
Sandra? You have any?
No. Oh, Chief. Stray dogs on Hall Street and Ranch Street. It's probably 6 dogs running around. And it looks like one of them is about to have a litter. I have gotten a call that those dogs have been working and chasing people. So,
Down by the church.
yes,
Yeah, somebody was in my office yesterday talking about the dogs. Said there's two females that probably gonna be some more little dogs around there.
yes.
Okay. Got Max?
I like cookies.
They're around here making, we're in the pandemic.
I've got one thing that's been on my brain for a few days, and I want to get it off tonight. As probably you remember, we signed an agreement with the Johnson County Library Association. And when we want to do something, we got to go get permission from them to do it. And when Mr. Barefoot had a chance to get to apply for a grant, they said, no, you can't do that. You have to go through Smithfield. Let them do it. So I've been trying to figure out why we're hooked up with Smithfield, because we got a better library than they have. So I would ask if Derek would look into this and come back and tell me what the best way to operate this. Do we have to be a part of Smithfield in order to be certified, or do we have to have certain classifications of people to be certified? But I listened where this came from. I was listening to the librarian in Charlotte and the librarian in Raleigh yesterday on emerging issues. And when I listened to what they had to say, there is a tremendous advantage of having a library that is really active and does a lot of stuff. So your community is much better. The kids have more to do, and they have more opportunities to learn by having that library. And I think we've got the facilities, and I think that we got the know-how, and I hope we got the people. I know we got a good director. I'd like Fred to ask Derek to get us some information on why we got to be part of Smithfield. Is there anything else we need to?
I do. I just want to announce to all the commissioners, we're getting ready to switch over to Board Book Premier. So the first of next week, I'll send you guys all an email with your new login and some directions and everything. I went through like a little training, and it's pretty much about the same thing. There's not a lot of difference. So that'll be the first of next week. I'll send you.
Is it only compatible with iPads? Because Boardbook right now is only compatible with an iPad. You can't use a smartphone.
Okay, well I can send them an
I'm
email.
just curious.
Yeah, I'll send them an email and see, and I'll let you know.
I'll bet they changed that because they got a lot of heat because you couldn't use it with iPhone.
I see this one right here. It takes 2 days to charge it.
Yeah, sign your life away to get one of those
If it
things.
gets low, it takes about 2 days.
Yeah, it takes about 2 days to charge it, and then the battery goes on quick.
Anything else? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I made a motion.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Thanks for coming, everybody.
This thing's 10 years old. That's what I'm saying. It's time for a new one.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'll take it.
Make a motion.
Huh?
Make a motion.
All right, that was all.
And then you just shut it down.
I'm stopping down at the city.
I would just push it down.
He's taking the date
Just
that
come on.
Benson originally.
Turn it down.